Hi everyone. So we are in lesson 4.5, which is an Excel tutorial. And what you should have is the notes from section 4.5. I'm only going to keep the Excel file open so that you guys can see what I'm doing, but you make sure you follow along with our notes from section 4.5. So first what I want to do is I want to save this document. So if I go to File, I need to make sure I'm looking at Excel, File, Save As. I'm going to save this as lesson 4.5, and I'm just going to do that on my desktop. And then you'll see the name of the file up here, lesson 4.5, just like I typed in. And I'll save it in my desktop, and then I'll move it over into my class folder whenever I'm done with it. Next, what I want to do is I just want to use this first sheet to give you a little tutorial on some of the basic stuff. And you guys can spend some time after we're done looking through Excel and playing with the cells and changing the fonts and making your sheets pretty, because I know that students love to do that. So first what I want to show you is that every cell has a name, and you can see the name up here in the upper left-hand corner, the name box. So as I shift the cells that's being highlighted, notice that the names are changing as I go. So here I'm in cell F9, now I'm in F13, now I'm in A13, and now I'm back to A1. So the name of the cell is always there. You can change the width of any of your columns or rows by manually going in and changing them. So you can see if you want to measure, you can measure that it comes up. So you can change all of those. Let's say you've done this and you're like, oh, I kind of wish I wouldn't have done that. You can press this key up here in the upper left-hand corner right here. And when you do that and you change your width, let's say I want all my width to be 20. So I'll go make it 20. And now all the widths will be 20 for those columns. And let's say I want my heights to be 40. Now you can see they're all 40. So the easiest way to do that, again, is to shade everything. If you want different fonts, you can see right here, you can do font and text size, bold, italics, underline. Here you can decide what type of a border you want around one cell or a bunch of cells. You can fill in a cell with a color and change the font of a color. You can change the alignment of your cell. This tells you at the top, middle, or bottom, and this tells you left, middle, or right. So maybe I want to type like a heading here. So we just got done with semi-formal, and I used Excel to do all of my ticket sales information. So let's say I have here, I want to put semi-formal ticket sales check-in sheet, and that's my title. So I want to make it bold because it's a title. I want to make the font a little bit bigger. Notice that all of this is in cell A1. And if I were to go type something in cell B1, notice how it all goes away. So I'm going to delete this from B1. And what I'm going to do is, since these three cells, I'm taking up these three cells, I can click this merge and center. So it'll merge it for me and put it in the center. And maybe I would like it to be in the middle vertically as well. So I can click this here. So now, like, let's say I put the names here of our students, the date, and if they've paid for their tickets or not. So maybe I want to make these, bold and centered and maybe a little bit bigger. And then I'll start putting, the names of student. Allison is bringing George, and they have paid for both of their tickets. So 2 tickets. Notice that for some reason this font is different than this font. They're settled different. So maybe what I want to do is I just want to go to all my cells and say put them in the middle and in the middle. So now everything looks nice and pretty. Maybe I want to change the font. I'm not a Calibri fan. I usually like Cambria. So I can do that. I can maybe, let's say that there's a student named Ben, and he is bringing a student named Alexa, and he's bought 2 tickets. But let's say Alexa is from another school. She's from Academic Magnet. And so what I want to do for my check-in people is I want to highlight that just so that they know that Ben is our student, Alexa is not. And I just want to draw that to their attention, so I'm going to highlight that. Let's also say that I have over here, I have some information. So I'll say, as students are checking into the dance, please make sure that they have paid for their tickets. If not, tickets are $20 each. And so I've put this over here. I just want it to be for the check-in people, but it clearly does not fit. So what I can do is I can wrap the text. Now this is a really long sentence. It's probably not going to fit in this cell. So you can see that it kind of wraps it and it tries to get it to fit. So maybe if I merge these cells together, I can get it to fit. So there it goes. So now it all fits, and I just use the wrap text and then the merge since I needed a few more cells. If you have something that's just a little too big, like math class is the best class I've ever had, and I hit the wrap text, notice that that wasn't too bad. That'll fit in that cell. So down here it says sheet 1. So let's say I want to rename that sheet. I can click and rename it. I'm going to rename it Basics just because I'm kind of going over the basics right now. And tab color, you know, I'm a fan of purple. Make it purple. So you can always do that. So again, just in summary, cell names are always up here in the upper left-hand corner. Here I'm in cell B3. Notice that the text that's in the cell is here at the formula bar. One other thing I did want to mention, when I merge the cell, it's A1 now. When I go to the right, I'm now at cell D1. So cells B1 and C1 just don't exist anymore. They completely merged. And you'll see there's a lot of other things up here on your ribbon. And we're going to go through a lot of these stuff, especially in the personal finance unit. But for right now, we're just going to hit the highlights. So now what I want to do is I want to revisit that mom versus dad exercise. So if you go to your notes, I am now on number 4. I'm going to hit this plus sign. That'll give me a new sheet, and I can get an infinite number of sheets. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this sheet Mom versus Dad. And I'm going to change the tab color to green. So in this problem, Mom versus Dad, it says this summer you have exactly 6 weeks to work for your parents, and your mom and your dad have both made you an offer. Your mom has offered to pay you 1 penny on day 1, 2 pennies on day 2, 4 pennies on day 3, growing geometrically for the 6 weeks. And remember, for the 6 weeks, you're just going to work 5 days a week, so 30 total days. Your dad offers to pay you $1,000 for day 1, $1,100 for day 2, $1,200 for day 3, growing arithmetically for the 6 weeks. So what we want to do is we want to set up a sheet to analyze what's going on before I decide who I'm going to work for. So on number 4, it says set up column titles in columns A through E. So A1, it says to title that day number. B1, mom payment. C1, mom total. D1, dad payment. And E1, dad total. So notice here that I didn't really have enough space here for mom payment and for dad payment. So I want to click here and make all of these columns just a little wider. What I also want to do is I'm going to go ahead and change my font to Cambria. And down here I have a zoom bar, so I'm not changing the size of anything. I'm just getting my zoom. There we go. Zooming right here just so it gets a little bit bigger so I can see it a little easier. I'm going to bold these just so that they stand out. I also think I'll go ahead and change my cell alignment so it's in the middle. All right. So now I'm on number 5. It says use a formula to generate the number of days in column A. So I'm going to work for 30 days. So what Excel will do for me is if I can build a formula, it will recognize and duplicate formulas for me. So I'm going to start with day 1. Here I'm in cell A2 and I'm just going to type in a 1. What you need to do to tell Excel that you're getting ready to type in a formula is you have to type in an equal sign. So here in cell A3 I'm going to type equals. And what I want it to do is I want it to grab the previous day. So I'm just going to go grab that cell and then add 1 to it. Now you can type in A2 if you want, or you can just go grab the cell. And then you hit enter. And so what it does, notice that here in the function bar you can see the formula you typed in, yet here it evaluates whatever was in cell A2 and it adds 1 to it. Let's do that again. So here I want to have 3, so I have equals cell A3 plus 1, and it should give me a 3. So now what I want to do is I don't want to do that 30 times. So notice the cursor. It's a white cursor right now, and that white cursor allows me to grab different cells. When I grab this cell, A4, and I move to this bottom right-hand corner, it changes to a black cross. Now what this black cross does is it tells Excel to recognize the formula and duplicate it. So I can drag this down. I'm just going to drag it down a little bit. And notice what it does. It continues the pattern for me. So if I look here in my formula bar, it says A4 plus 1. If I go down 1, it says A5 plus 1, A6 plus 1, A7 plus 1. It noticed that it wants you to grab the cell above it and add 1 to it. So I'm going to continue this down until I'm at 30. I went a little too far, so I'll just delete those. So there I am. Now let's talk about mom's payment. I'm on number 6 now, and it says to write recursive and explicit formulas for mom versus dad. So you can write those on your own. For mom's payment, you start with a penny, and then every day she is doubling your payment. So you are multiplying by 2 every time. For dad's payment, you start with 1,000, and he's adding 100 every day. So now let's go ahead and set up mom's payment. I'm on number 7. So mom's payment the first day is 0.01. Now the second day, you want to double that. You want to multiply that amount by 2. So to start a formula, you put equals the previous payment times 2. Enter. 2 pennies. And you can do that again if you want. You say equals the previous payment times 2. Should have 4 pennies. And now I'm tired of typing in formulas. I could have done it on the previous step. Let's just drag that down and see how much money mom is going to pay me on the last day. Wow, that's a lot of money. So it looks like it's going to be $5,368,709. That's crazy. And that's how much she's paying me every day. I haven't even talked about how much she's paying me throughout the 30 days. So that is how much mom is paying me. Now let's see how much dad's paying me. He pays me $1,000 on day 1. So I'll type in 1,000. Now I'm going to set up a formula. It equals what he paid me on the last day plus 100. Enter. And so now you can see the $1,100. You can type in another formula if you want, or you can just go ahead and drag that formula because Excel will recognize it for you. So there's how much dad is paying me on the 31st day. Or on the 30th day. So you can see we are likely going to work for mom. But let's just see how much that difference is. Now I'm on number 9, column C. I want to know how much mom is paying me at the end of each day and how much I've earned cumulatively. So the partial sums. So at the end of the first day, she just pays me a penny. So I'll just say cell C2 equals B2 and hit enter. Now, at the end of the second day, I'll have the amount I made yesterday, which is right above it, plus the amount I made today, which is the cell directly to the left. Hit enter. I can do it one more time. So on the third day, I made 3 pennies before, the amount right above it, plus the new amount, giving me 7 pennies. So now Excel will recognize this pattern. It wants you to take the cell above it plus the cell to the left of it. And I can drag that down and see how much money I am making at the end of the day. I'm going to highlight that because that is a lot of money that mom is going to owe me. So it looks like $10,737,418.23 is what mom is going to owe me at the end of this 30 days. Now let's look at dad. So on the first day, he pays me this $1,000. So I'm going to say equals D2. Then on the end of the second day equals what he paid me yesterday, which is in E2, plus what he pays me today, which is in D3. Enter. And that really is enough for it to recognize the pattern, and I can drag this down and see how much money I'm getting from Dad. So that's $73,500. Now that was the answer to number 1 on problem set 4.3, which you guys did because we had the arithmetic sum formula that we were able to use. But we weren't able to find out how much Mom had because we didn't know how to add up geometric sums yet. So there you go. So think about like what this row says. It says on the 11th day, Mom pays me $10.24, and she's paid me a total of $20.47. While Dad is going to pay me $2,000 on the 11th day, and I will have made a total of $16,500 from Dad. So on day 11, it looks like I should be working for Dad. But if I scroll down a bit, you'll see where Mom's daily payments start to look more than Dad's payments. You can see right here between day 19 and 20, that's when the daily payments get more. So here in this one, you still see how Mom, the daily payment here is less than Dad's. But here in the next row, you see on day 20, that's when it jumps, and it jumps significantly. Mom's paying you a lot more than Dad. And you can see that cumulatively, you are making more than what Dad's paying you in row, let's see, the cumulative total, it starts to change here. Here, Dad still has paid you a little bit more, but on day 23 is when Mom starts to overpower Dad. So I like how Excel gives you all of these numbers and you have them seamlessly at your fingertips. Now there's one other thing I want to show you, and that's just the sum function, and it's the last thing. So let's say I didn't want to do the partial sums, I just wanted to add up the total amount here. I can type in equals and then SUM and start parentheses. And what I like to do if I am just going to add up a lot of numbers that are vertically already arranged, I can just highlight all of the numbers, the cells that I want to be added, end my parentheses and hit enter, and it will give me this sum formula. So you can notice here the formula, if you just have a vertical arrangement, you can type the first cell that you want to add with a colon and the second cell you want to add. So maybe I'll do that here in column D. So I want to add, so sum, instead of dragging, I'll just type in D2 colon D31. And then you can see how it highlights all of them for me. D2 is that first day and D31 is the last day. Hit enter and you can see that 73,500 number. And it should match my partial sum that I got whenever I added them all up in cells C and E. So the last question, who you're going to work for, I hope you are all saying that you're working for Mom, because she is definitely offering you the better deal, even though up front, Dad's deal looks pretty good. So, and you can distinguish, your mom and your dad if you want. You can go through and you can make borders for all of these if you are going to print this out and you want to distinguish everything. So that's the Excel tutorial, just some basics that I wanted you to see. And the big thing is I wanted you to see how a geometric series, like in Mom's offer, grows so much faster and quicker than Dad's arithmetic series. And that's it.